Okay, up to you, Mr. Nahar, whether we start now or later.
So for our participants, we will start this session. Please to enjoy. And for Mr. Hanifuddin Malik and Abi Kusno. So after this short video bumper, the platform is yours.
Yes, please. Hello, good morning, everyone. Good down, good very early morning, good noon, good evening for everyone across the world. Welcome back again to the course. After tomorrow, we have our opening ceremony. Today is the first day of the course. And I hope everyone is happy and ready to participate in the course today. For this session, the very first session, we're going to have a virtual tour part 1. We are going to see the monuments, sites, and areas of heritage in Indonesia. From now until 2 hours, we will going to have this session, and we have the representative of the Directorate of Cultural Protection from the Ministry of Education and Culture. Welcome, Mr. Abi Kusno. Mr. Abi Kusno is going to share with you the heritage, the cultural property in Indonesia, because we have so many cultural heritage in Indonesia that we could share to you, so that we are going to notice all those heritage. But if you want to see more, you can ask him to tell us more in these 2 hours. Okay, so the first session, Mr. Abi Kusno will share this heritage, and later on you could ask whatever you want to know about cultural heritage in Indonesia. Mr. Abi Kusno is an archaeologist. He was graduated from France as specialty in prehistory heritage, but now he works at the Ministry of Education and Culture, particularly at the cultural protections. So without further ado, Mr. Abi Kusno, are you ready? But before we go to Mr. Abi Kusno, we would like to apologize that we changed the ID of the Zoom because of the technical problem tomorrow. From now until tomorrow and until the last day of the course, we're going to have only one ID. So yesterday was a technical problem. We apologize, but we are not going to change anymore the ID. Please use this ID until the last day of the course. And beside the participants, we are also having 2 observers. They are not participants, they are not the such persons or lecturers, but welcome Mr. Yunus Arbi as the observer of this course, and also Mr. Yunus Arbi College, welcome as the observer. And for the second session of today's course, we are going to have the online class of cultural heritage conservation based on traditional methodologies, which will be delivered by Professor Dr. Hadi Sri Ahimsa from University of Gajah Mada. So, Mr. Abi Kusno, are you ready to deliver to present the Indonesian heritage?
Yeah,
Mr. Abi
we can
Kusno?
start. I hope I'm ready.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Abi Kusno. We give the time to you until 12 noon. Yes, Indonesian time. Okay, please, Mr. Abi Kusno.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hanif and friends from Borobudur. Mr. Hanif already introduced me. My name is Abi Kusno. I work in the Directorate of Protection Culture in Jakarta. This session is supposed to be delivered by my director, but he's in another task, so I will present for the presentation today. But first, I would like to welcome you all to this session. I'm not sure from the participant is from countries. I think there are several countries that are attend here and friends from Balai Pelestarian Cagar Budaya across Indonesia. So let me start by share my presentation. I hope there won't be a difficulty of connection here because right now I'm in Semarang uh, after doing some diving activity in Karimun, Jawa Island. Okay, first, the title that the organizer asked me to speak about the cultural heritage in Indonesia, mainly virtual tour, just a grand picture of diversity of heritage in Indonesia. And first, as we all know, Indonesia consists of 34 provinces. We have more than 17,000 islands, more than 1,000 ethnics across Indonesia, who speaks 750 languages. And also we have a various religions and beliefs in Indonesia. Based on our regulation, our cultural heritage divided into two, tangible and intangible. And this is the tangible heritage based on the law of Indonesia Republic number 11, 2010 about the cultural property. In this law, the cultural property divided into five forms: objects, buildings, structures, sites, and area. But for now, I think the organizer asked me to speak about sites, area, and monuments. So first, we travel to South Sumatra. Here we have the House of Chong Avi. This is in North Sumatra in Medan. The value of this house is a combination of architecture between Chinese, Europe, and Malayu architecture. In here, the house itself, it's already open for public, so we can visit the house. And the Chongavi itself, him is we can say that he is a philanthropist in his era, around 18 something. And Chong Avi itself, he one of the supporting for heritage across North Sumatra specifically. He funded the building of Istana Maimun, also the mosque of Baitur Rahman, and from the literature itself, it said that Chong Afi also funded the Koninklijk Institute for the Tropen, the uh, Museum Tropen now in Netherlands, and also the Chong Afi he funded the development of Museum Delhi in Medan, but unfortunately, until now, we cannot be sure whether the Museum Delhi finish build up in that time, because until now we cannot see the museum. So one of the uh, present of Chong Avi, he also gave the task of an elephant to the governor of general in Netherlands in Amsterdam. Uh, Maybe besides his philanthropist, he also gave it as a businessman, because he has a lot of business in across North Sumatra, and also in Penang, Singapore, and some other places. So now the present, the gift itself, uh, we can see it in Amsterdam Museum and in the storage. Another example, we can go to the West Sumatra province. This is the Ombilen coal mining heritage in Sawalunto. Now it's already World Heritage site. Uh, Actually, for the Ombilen site, the expert is Pak Yunus Arbi. The Mr. Hanif said as the observer for today. Pak Yunus can say a lot about the coal mining heritage, because he is one of the people who research about this Ombiling coal mining heritage. Uh, some of the heritage there we can see is the rail station, Museum Basuru Mining Pit, Museum Gudang Ransum, and also the coal processing plant compound itself. So basically, this is a one town in South Sumatra, in West Sumatra. We call it Sawalunto. Uh, one big city that we can say now it's World Heritage. So the development itself in Sawalunto, it's they have to development the city based on the cultural heritage. So this is one of the difficulty we faced in Indonesia, because we we stipulated the town as a cultural heritage area. So it's a big city, consists of a lot of heritage, from building, rail station, and other stuff. So this is a big challenge for us in the future, from now until the future, how to development the city itself uh, based on the cultural heritage method. Uh, in this museum, also in Museum Gudang Ransum, beside of the universal standing value that UNESCO said from the it said that the Sawalunto is representative of an outstanding example of pioneering and technological ensemble plan built by the European engineers in the colonial era. Besides the universal value of technology, uh, it also practiced the organization of labor. In Museum Gudang Ransum, we can see that the slavery or the laboring itself, it's quite the dark heritage of the World Cultural Heritage of Sawalunto. Besides of the technology, the dark heritage site is also appear in the Museum of Gudang Ransum, like the presence of orang rante, orang lubang, and orang tambang. So this is the decolonization of Indonesia heritage that we can see in Museum Gudang Ransum in Sawalunto. And I'm sorry for this. After that, we can go to South Sumatra Province. This is the megalithic site. We call it Pasema. In this site, you can see in the up left corner, we already identified a lot of heritage in the area. Consists of this statue, but up until now we haven't finished doing the documentation of the site because of the condition in Pasema, which is still forest. So we can only do documentation part by part. We already stipulated the site several years ago, but it's still not cover all of the area in the Pasema because it is lay on two region, district, or kabupaten, we call it in Bahasa. So we can see there's a lot of megalithic statue, which is not very clear the shape of the face or the body itself. It's slightly different from what we have in Lorelindu, for example, in Sulawesi. We can see it later in the picture, in the presentation later. But this is a very rich site, and we still have a lot of homework to do in this area. After Sumatra, we can go now to Java. I'm sorry because of the a lot of heritage in Indonesia, so I cannot. I have to choose what site that I have to present to you, because up until now, the Kantor of Balai Pelestarian Cagar Budaya and in Indonesia and Research Center Archaeology in Jakarta and also in several area in Indonesia, they already do inventarization of the heritage. Up until now, we already have like more than 100,000 objects, consists of site objects, monuments, and also buildings. So I have to sort a lot of sites to present here. Now, like you all see in the presentation, we can see that this is Gunung Padang site. This is a megalithic site, megalithic structure in the West Java province, specifically in Cianjur district. This is a very monumental megalithic site. It lays 800 meters above sea level. It consists of columnar joint So they apparently the human at that time used this columnar joint provided by the nature to build some structure that they believe uh, as a ritual place. It consists of 5 terrace. The first terrace is the lowest part, and the fifth terrace is the highest part of the structure. Uh, we can see that in the first terrace, there are a lot of stones, the andesite stones, columnar joint stones, spread everywhere, and uh, we cannot see whether it's built or form a space, or it just spread it like doesn't have any meaning. But recently we do the mapping in Gunung Padang site. We try to documentize each stone so we can do puzzle in computer at first before we can reconstruct the form of the space itself. So uh, up until now, we do just in the terrace 5 because it's the terrace that the stone have less less stone than the other terrace, uh, and it formed have space. So hopefully, based on this reconstruction on computer, we can reconstruct after in the field the original shape or for the terrace the fifth terrace. But this is a very difficult things to do because we don't have reference for the megalithic structure site in Indonesia. It's different like in Inca, Peru, or Aztec, that the site itself it's already reconstruct. But in Indonesia, up until now, we don't have a megalithic structure site that's still original. And later on, we moved to Prambanan Temple and also Borobudur. But the Borobudur and Prambanan, maybe the our friends from the Borobudur can explain more about this temple. But what I can say that is lay on the Central Java province. It built in the 8th to 10th century, consists of Hindu and Buddhism, Buddhist religion. Uh, what we can see from this era is that the king from that era, it's already developed or already have several religion in their kingdom. We can see that this is the proof of multiculturalism and also tolerancy. Uh, I forgot the English for tolerancy. Uh, the people they can do the Hinduism and also Buddhism practice in the kingdom. So what we already present in the UNESCO uh, seminar several years ago, that this is the proof of the Indonesian multiculturalism. It's already been practiced a long time ago, since the 8th century up until now. This is the proof of multiculturalism in the Indonesia. For Prambanan itself, we still have a lot of things to do. There are still more structure that needs to be reconstructed. Maybe the friends from BPCB Jateng can give an upside how many candi perwara that we have in Prambanan that we still haven't reconstructed yet, because Pak Said, one of our friends, said that if we reconstruct one candi perwara in Prambanan, we need like more than 100 years to reconstruct it all, because of the difficulty and the budget itself. So if we want to reconstruct Prambanan as a whole, we need more budget and more people to do it, because it's a very complex site. This is Borobudur. I cannot say much about Borobudur because you already know much about Borobudur Temple in Central Java. So we can skip about the Borobudur. But what I can say is that it consists more than 2,000 panels, I think, and more than 70 Buddha statue. And the relief itself, it consists of a lot of story from the Buddhism. Maybe our friends from Borobudur can add up a little bit about Borobudur story. If you want to add up some story, feel free to jump in for the participant from Indonesia, because our friends, our participants here in the conference from the BPCB, they know a lot of heritage in their area, other more than me, because they do these things day by day. This is their day job, and the updated information about the heritage or the cultural heritage itself, they know more than me. So feel free to jump in if you want to add some story or updated information about the site. Ada yang mau nambahin teman-teman Borobudur?
Okay, Mr. Abi, maybe later on we are going to add more information about Borobudur Temple.
Okay.
Please continue your presentation first. Then we're going to, Mr. Nahar will add more information about it because he's the expert of Borobudur.
Yeah.
Right, Mr. Nahar?
Yeah,
Thank you.
Depend on the question from the participant. So,
Oh, yes. Okay.
yeah, if there's
So
a
maybe
question,
later on the discussion, huh?
Yes.
Okay. Now we move slightly to East Java province. This is the Trawulan area. There's heritage from the Majapahit kingdom. It's already been stipulated as heritage. It's cover like more than 90 kilometers square. You can see the map. It's a very huge area that we stipulated. This is stipulated as area or kawasan cagar budaya, we call it in bahasa. A lot of heritage here from Majapahit era. We can see candi, we can see the structure from pond, and also we can see that there's still a lot of in the first picture in the left side. we excavate the area and we see that there are a lot of bricks spread everywhere, and we cannot, up until now we still have a difficulty to interpret whether it's uh, a house settlement or it's a temple or whether it's an old road or something, because the layer itself in Trowulan area, it consists of several different culture. This is the difficult part if you want to interpret one uh, specific location in Trowulan to reconstruct the way of life, or whether to reconstruct the structure or the monuments or the building itself, because of the long span area span time of the site itself. The recent excavation, uh, I'm not sure I have the picture or not, but our recent excavation for the last 2 years, we just finished it this year in last September. Uh, we found uh, a wall from bricks also. Uh, it spread like 6 acre. It cover for up until now, from the literature itself and from other researcher, like from colonial period and up until now, probably the Kumiter site, the site that I told you, it's a very very uh, wide area. Probably it is the house of Bre Wongker, one of the small kingdom under Majapahit kingdom. So this is like a village, like a villa for this king when he uh, live in Trowulan area. But up until now, recent discovery, we still haven't we're still not sure whether this is the house of the Brewenker itself, or this is the main palace for the Trowulan. The in Trowulan, we still haven't found the main palace for the Majapahit kingdom, because of the now there are already a lot of people who live there, so uh, it's been difficult to excavate all of the area in Trowulan if you want to excavate. And we moved to Central Java Province, back to Central Java Province. This is the Sangaran area, already categorized as World Cultural Heritage. This is the proof of human evolution site, spread out around 56 kilometers square, covering the history of humankind from 1.5 million years ago. More than 100 individuals of Homo erectus found in this area. Now we can see that we have four and four or five museum in Sangiran. This is the vast development we have in cultural heritage. There are 4 cluster of museum in Sangiran. It's already been open for public, and what you see here is the main museum in Sangiran, in Kerikilan. And in here, Bayunus Arbi also worked a lot of time here since the beginning of development of Sangiran. And now we try to uh, have a cooperation with the local people. We gave them workshop, we educate them how to uh, utilize the site based on the cultural heritage method. So whenever they found
Untuk kita masukkan ke grup.
when whenever they found some fossil in the area, they report to the people in the Balai Pelestarian in museum, and sometimes we we gave like some as a respectation for what they already have, what they already did in Sangiran. The community of tourism also already been worked there with the Balai Pelestarian Manusia Purba in Sangiran. So this is one of the example of the involvement of community in Sangiran in cultural heritage. And this is one of the example of underwater cultural heritage. This is also categorized as sites. This is in Bali, in Tolamben region. A U.S. Ship categorized as U.S. Army transport ship. And in these sites also, the involvement of community in that area to protect and to develop and also to utilize the site as a tourism spot. Also one of the good example what we have done so far in Indonesia. The people tradition and also the culture itself in Bali for this site. It's very different from the other region in Indonesia because the tradition in Bali itself, they have some structure. So the protection of the site, it's done by the community for most part, besides of the regional government there in Bali. We already been explore several times in this area, in these sites. We made publication video. We made tourism attraction there. We involved the dive center in Bali. We educate them. We gave them a workshop on how to uh, utilize the site as a tourism, uh, but the protection for cultural heritage itself, they have to provide in the site. So besides of Sangiran, Tulamben also one of the good example, the involvement of the community there in Indonesia. And this is Goa Gajah, also in Bali in Gianyar region. No, this is not 1942. This is wrong. My mistake. It is also one of the attraction tourism in Bali. A lot of guided tour in Bali. Definitely go to this Goa Gajah. The consists of a lot of statue from the Hinduism period, and but uh, it's difficult to choose the heritage I want to present here from Bali area, because there's a lot of interesting heritage in Bali that still the interesting part of heritage in Bali, because the people, the community in Bali itself, they still do the tradition, because the main religion there is Hindu. So we can see there is the heritage is itself, they still use it to do their tradition. Maybe later on our friends from BPCB Bali can say more about this site. This is the other part of Indonesia. It's in Borneo, in Kalimantan Island. One of our recent spectacular sites also, because it spread more than 400,000 hectares, and up until now we have more than 30 sites there. But I think recent development, recent research there, they found more than 30 sites now. They already been dated the site, and it come up like 40,000 years ago, similar to the rock art site that we found in the Sulawesi. The the picture, the art itself, it's almost similar to the one in Sulawesi. There's a lot of picture of animals and hand printed, and the you can see that this is a very difficult site to explore. Our friends from BPCB Kalimantan Timur, they've been explored these sites more than 3 years, I think. And whenever they explore, they found another site. They found another cave that have rock art inside. uh, I think the Sangkulirang site itself, we try to uh, propose to UNESCO to stipulate as a World Cultural Heritage, but still in progress, because we still have a lot of identification and inventarization activity there. There still have we have a lot of things to do there. We still have a lot of homework that we have to do in Sangkulirang, especially the stipulated itself as cultural heritage based on the uh, cultural heritage law in Indonesia, uh, because uh, based on that law that uh, we have to stipulate the site, the cultural heritage first, before we can propose it as a cultural heritage world site. So this is a very big homework project. And this is another part in rock art in South Sulawesi province. The recently famous site because of the dating method that come up to 40,000 years ago. So this is one of the oldest rock art paintings that we have in Indonesia, and also one of the oldest rock art paintings in the world, I think. It has more than 100 sites. It's also cover 400 hectares area. This is the site in Maros Pangkap area in South Sulawesi. So you can see that it's spread out very wide area in a very high density of cave. So people at that time occupied this wide area in South Sulawesi. This is one of the example of the rock art paintings. You can see in the lowest part of the picture, it's a form of a boat, and in the upper left, it's an animal of I don't know whether it's babirusa or anoa. So this is the endemic animals in South Sulawesi, in Sulawesi. The hand printed uh, paintings also appears in the cave in South Sulawesi. Uh, we this is I think the most existing paintings in the cave in Indonesia. Uh, we move to the lowest part of Indonesia. This is the in the Nusa Tenggara Timur province, in the east part of Bali, in another island. This is the Bung Karno house. Bung Karno was exiled here during the colonialism period back there. Bung Karno is the first president of Indonesia. We already stipulated this house as a cultural heritage. We already developed the site as a cultural attraction for tourism. We have the museum. The house itself, we use it as a museum. Consists of several artifacts from the era of Bung Karno while he exiled there during that time. And the park you can see in the lowest part, they said this is the place where Bung Karno uh, come up with the idea of Pancasila, one of our base, what we call it, dasar ideology in Indonesia. We have a five base. So we built this park and the tree where Bung Karno come up with the idea, and we also built some one statue of Bung Karno sitting there. We move to the east more part of Indonesia. This is the Maluku Province, the fort of Durstead. They built it in 1691, and this is one of the fort that have an oval shape. The other shape of fort in Indonesia, it's like a pentagram, segi lima, but in this fort, the shape is oval. So this is a very uh, unique fort in Indonesia, in Maluku, because of the shape itself was oval, and also the fort itself, it's a proof of a war between the Patumura, one of our heroes, national heroes in Indonesia, that war against the colonialism of Dutch at that time. Uh, we also have a museum in that area that uh, revealing the story of Patimura war against the Dutch, and that happened during the 1800 year. This is the picture of the fort in the inside. The view itself, it's very good because most of the fort it's lay on the coast of the land itself. This is another megalithic site in Indonesia in central Sulawesi province. Uh, we call it Lorelindu area. Uh, it's a very in a very highland position and a very wide area coverage. So you can see in the picture in the map itself, it consists at least five area: lembah Palu, Danau Lindu, lembah Napu, Benoa, and lembah Badai itself. The statue, the structure we found there mainly in the form of a human, but uh, in the abstract form. And this is this is a very wide coverage area, also like the in the Kalimantan. We still have a lot of things to do here also because of the condition itself, and also the in the forest. This is the national park of Lorelindu. Uh, the site itself we categorize as a religion site, but also as a cultural and a historical site. This is a very monumental site in Sulawesi, and most of the sites we can we can say that this is the Austronesian artifact heritage, and this is been researched a very long time ago, since 1900. uh, I think it's 1920 or 1919, when Van Heckeren and also other researcher from Europe came here to explore the area because of the information they have. Indonesia itself, it's already been explored by Mahapa Haris Sukendar, and also nowadays from the our friends in Balai Pelestarian Cagar Budaya. Uh, they have like they found Kalamba, and also menhir, we call it in Bahasa, and also a table stone that have holes in the upper part, and also a burial jar. So this is a very interesting site. Up until now, we have documentized like 75 sites in the whole area, but I think our friends from BPCB Gorontalo have more updated information about this later. The face from the uh, statue itself uh, almost similar in every stone that we found, in every statue that we found. The eyes, the shape of the face and the nose, it's almost similar in every heritage that we found, in every artifact. So maybe this is one of the uh, value, the outstanding value that we have in Lorelindu area. I think this is the last slide. This is the Fort Oranyo in North Maluku Province, in the center of Ternate. This is one of the proof of uh, spice uh, spice heritage, because now Indonesia, uh, one of the main focus is about the spice route, and also we try to propose to UNESCO to stipulate this spice route in Indonesia. Uh, the building itself, the fort, uh, back then is the house of the Governor General of during the colonialism period, and now we have uh, uh, used the fort as a museum of spice, and this is also one of the examples of the colonialism structure, where the heritage from colonialism period we use it, and we develop and we utilize the sites, the heritage, uh, to reconstruct uh, the story, the history of the site, or the history of the building itself, as identity of Indonesia. And we also said that this is the center of maritime spice route, one of the center of maritime spice route. We already revitalized the fort. It's almost similar like the one in the Fort Rotterdam. Also, we also already revitalized the site, the fort. We use it as a museum. We use it as an office of Balai Pelestarian Cagar Budaya. So what I can say is the various city of form of heritage in Indonesia, it's very various. We more since the megalithic or prehistory era up until the colonialism period. Uh, we have religion site, we have settlement site, we have also activity sites from the prehistorical era, like the one that we see in the cave, where there's a lot of rock art. So with this kind of uh, heritage that we have in Indonesia, it's a very big work for us how to uh, preserve this this heritage, because of the variation of uh, type, variation of materials, and the variation of the story itself. And nowadays, within the development of series in Indonesia, this is our main challenge in the preservation of heritage. Because of because the development, each series develop their series, and our challenge is uh, collaborate, uh, how we can use this cultural heritage not as an obstacle for development, but as a supporting structure, as a supporting heritage, how this heritage can support the identity of the city itself, how the region, the district, and the community can use the heritage and uh, not also as a tourism attraction site, but also as a education for the people. So I think this is where I stop speaking, and maybe after this, our friends from Balai Pelestarian Cagar Budaya can add up some update information about the sites in Indonesia. And thank you, and I give it back to Mr. Hanif.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Abi Kusno, for your very informative presentation about the cultural heritage richness in Indonesia. That brightened our eyes because we travel throughout Indonesia from the west part to the east part of Indonesia. And the examples that you give are very excellent, so that we can understand more about Indonesian heritage. Maybe the Indonesian participant also can understand more about the heritage beyond your areas. And also, it is very important to know that Mr. Abi has stated there are many various era of the heritage. Actually, Indonesia, we divided into 4 period of cultural heritage, Mr. Abi, right? It is prehistory, and then classic or Hindu and Buddhism, and then the third one is Islamic history or Islamic period, and the last one is colonial. But we also have after post-independence heritage that should be included into our periodization of heritage, right? Okay. Thank you very much again, Mr. Abi. So you have taken us to travel to Indonesia, and I hope that the participants from Indonesia can also add more information about what Mr. Abi has shared to us. If you would like to ask it or to add more information, please do so. We much welcome your questions. And also the participants from abroad, we would like to know more about your heritage. You could share your heritage to us. Maybe there's similar heritage, or maybe there's a different periodization of heritage in your respective country. So if you would like to ask questions, please type to in the chat box, or you can raise your hand to Mr. Abi, and we will select some questioners. So we have still 1 hour to know more about the Indonesian heritage. If you would like to know, or you would like to share the other information about heritage in your country, in your areas, please do so. Okay, let me check the chat box first. Okay, we have one question first, Mr. Abi Kusno, to you. I would like to read it to you. This question is from Mr. Haidar Saleh Reksa Legora. Thank you for the questions. Mr. Abi, this is the questions. Kindly suggest whether we have a centralized database or materials needed in each heritage structure or sites needs. Okay, so the question is whether do we have any database for to centralize this heritage in Indonesia? And I think Mr. Abi know the questions, right? Because yeah, we have the system, right? Yeah, please, would you like to share with us the system, registration system in Indonesia?
Yeah, this is more interesting to discuss, I think, because of the virtual tour our participants have more information, I think, that I have. But for the question from Mr. Haidar, whether we have centralized database, we do have. Before, it was each office in BPCB. They have individual database. They have separate database. So, but now we try to develop the system for database. Uh, uh, Not only the inventarization of each heritage, but also what we have done with the heritage. So whether we already documentized the site, or whether we already reconstruct the site, reconstruct the buildings. Uh, Now we try to develop this database. We try to build this database last year, and still in the phase of finalization of the database. But during the process, our Director General of Culture also asked us to to synchronize this database with management of digital asset. So now we have, I think, one is the database itself. The second project is the management of digital asset, and the third project, forgot the name, but uh, it's the database central for tangible and intangible. So the big house is the database for intangible and tangible culture, not only the object but also the community who involved in development this intangible cultural heritage. And the big project is how to synchronize all of this project into one, not centralized, but uh, link with each other. So whenever we want to take out one information for one object, rather we have one information from one database. Now, or when this project is finished, we can have not only the data of collection, but also the picture, the article, the video, all of the information about the object. So it's a very good uh, results in the next future if we can finish this. I think, do I answer the question or still have
Okay.
more?
Yeah, I think Mr. Haidar, would you like to ask more about these questions? Is that satisfying enough? His answer, or you could directly ask to Mr. Abi now. Would you like to open the microphone and open your video, please, if you would like to know more, Mr. Haidar Saleh? Mr. Haidar Saleh, has that answered all of your questions? Okay, if it is okay, satisfying. So that we are going to move to another questions, Mr. Abi. Maybe this question is special for the Borobudur Conservation Office. Miss Erin Brady, she would like to know more about Borobudur as what you have said before, that there should be more information about Borobudur Temple now. And Mr. Nahar is ready to explain us more about Borobudur. Maybe Mr. Nahar and friends can also add more information about Borobudur. This very curious, especially the participant from abroad. So would you like to give us more information about Borobudur, please, Mas Nahar?
Hello, Mr. Hani.
Yeah, Mr. Nahar, please.
Would you please to skip to the next question, because
Oh,
I'm preparing a small presentation about Borobudur.
oh, that's nice. So the presentation about
Yeah,
Borobudur
maybe
will be
Mr.
presented by
Abi can
Mr. Nahar
answer
later.
the other question first.
Okay. Okay, we give you maybe 10 minutes, Mr. Nahar, yeah?
Okay.
10 minutes. Okay. We move to another questions. This is asked by Mr. Adam De Beer. This is okay. Mr. Adam De Beer, please wait. Okay. I would like to read Mr. Adam De Beer questions. So within South Africa, the colonial era sites ranging from 1600s to 1900s are contested and can be deeply dividing. How successful has your program been to reintegrate colonial era heritage into a national identity? For example, the reinventing Fort Orange as Spice Museum. So how the effort of Indonesia to reintegrate colonial era heritage into national identity. This is a very good questions from Mr. Adam De Beer. Mr. Abi Kusno, would you like to answer now?
Yeah, it's a interesting and difficult question.
Yes,
Uh,
I think so.
for uh, for the example that I have present you before with the Fort Orange Spice Museum, and also in Fort Rotterdam in the South Sulawesi. Uh, because of the heritage itself, of course, it has more history, uh, re- more than only the colonial era. That most of the part of the colonialism, it's not a very uh, excitement period, but we still have some story or some information that we can achieve from the colonialism heritage. For example, like in Fort Rotterdam itself, at first it was built by the Indonesian people from the Goa kingdom, and after it was occupied by the colonial people, and later on, after the uh, Indonesian in period, we use it as a museum. We use it as an office of BPCB, and there's still some stories that we can still uh, inform the Indonesian people, besides the colonial story. So this is, I think, one of the program that we try to integrate uh, colonial heritage into national identity. So not only the story of the colonial itself, but also the story of people, the national people, the Indonesian people within the heritage itself. I think this is one of the challenge that we face whenever we want to reintegrate, or we want to stipulate the colonial heritage as a national heritage. I think it happens in most countries, this challenge.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Abi Kusno. Mr. Adam Devi, if you would like to ask more, you're most welcome now. Or do you have
Yeah,
any?
they can share some side in their country also, no, Pak Hanif?
Yes, please, Mr. Adam Debir, if you would like to share another experience or another
Yeah.
regulations in maybe in South Africa to be said here in this course, we so much appreciate it. Uh, yes, maybe later on, Mr. Abi, we still have many days ahead.
Okay.
Okay, so going to another question. The next question. This is from Miss Harpreet Tandai. I'm sorry if I spell your name wrong, Miss Tandai. Is that correct? Miss Harpreet Tandai. Is that
Yes,
correct?
Harpreet. Yes, Harpreet
Harpreet
Tanda
Tandai.
is perfect. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Her question is, okay, I will read it completely. Beautiful examples of tangible heritage. How all these sites are protected, Mr. Abi? And who is in charge for the maintenance of this site? The state, the province, or is there any maintenance program, perhaps for some of the most well-known sites like Borobudur Temple? So this is the manager of the site. Maybe Mr. Abi, would you like to answer now?
Yeah. Here in Indonesia, based on the law also, there are some people they can who can own heritage. So the heritage itself can be owned by the central government, the regional government, and also private as an individual or private a company. So who in charge for this for the maintenance of the site? The main person who's in charge is the owner. So in the law, they say it said that the owner has the responsibility to preserve the heritage. But uh, in the law itself, they divided this cultural heritage into national uh, rank, province, and regional or kabupaten, what we call it in Bahasa. So whenever the heritage, like for example, Borobudur, but Borobudur, it's government owner. Let's see, Sawalunto. Sawalunto area, it have a lot of heritage and a lot of owner. But because of Sawalunto area stipulated as a national priority, so central government not obliged, but we can support the preservation of the site. But the main person who's in charge is the owner, but the central government can give some advice, fund, and also expert people to help preserve, conserve the building or the site. And for the program like Borobudur, it's owned by the central government, so it's the Balai Konservasi Borobudur is in charge protecting the temple. But Borobudur itself, we have a government-private cooperation who in charge in development and utilizing the site. So the tourism part is the responsible of this PT Taman, we call it the corporation, the government private corporation. So the PT Taman who's in charge in the tourism part, and Borobudur Balai Konservasi Borobudur who is in charge in protecting the site. So this is a cooperation between two parties. One parties protect the site, and one parties uh, utilize the site, but still in the uh, in the management, the putusan apa ya? Di pembinaan itu apa ya? In English, under
Management.
the management, still under the management of Directorate General of Culture, the tourism part. So whenever they want to use Borobudur to make movie or to have some concert in Borobudur, they still have to submit permission to the Directorate General of Culture. So I think this is the way we manage the sites in Indonesia.
Yes, Mr. Abi, because the examples, the excellent examples that you have shared to us just now is very various in terms of the leveling of those heritage. In Indonesia, we have three levels. The first is district level, and then province level and national level. So it depends on the level of this heritage, who is in charge to maintain the heritage. Yes. So, for example, Borobudur is national heritage. So the national government should be in charge. If the heritage is at the national province, I mean, at the province level, who is stipulated by the governor. So the government of those where the heritage are located should maintain those heritage. So it depends on the level of the heritage.
But
Yeah.
what I can add up is in the next future, there is some models of maintenance this heritage, because now it seems like uh, where whenever whatever fund, how big fund you put in one heritage, it will be not enough. So in the next future, we try to develop the model a model how to uh, protect or preserve the site, but also uh, utilize the site to gain money, to gain fund. So the site, it can sustain by itself. The government can reduce the fund for maintaining the site, but the main part still protect the site, rather than to utilize the site as a tourism. But this is the two system that we have to come up with a very rigid uh, uh, way of doing it in the next future. I don't know
Yes.
whether in other country they have some example for this model. It can be discussed later, I think.
Yes. Yeah, the government should always give the fund to conserve the heritage, but it could be in the matter of expertise or knowledge and what do you call it in English? Pedoman. What is pedoman? It's
Guidance.
like guidance how to conserve to people who own the heritage. could be a single heritage that they have it in their house. So government have to give them a guidance and then expertise, and not always funding. Okay, so thank you, Mr. Harpreet Tande, for the question. And we are going to move to another question. But before that, Mr. Nahar is ready to present the Borobudur Temple in a much more detailed information. So please, Mr. Nahar, start your presentation.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Hanif. So I have short presentation in here. I hope the time is enough because there are some slides, but I'll try to make it in a short. Okay. Yes, it's okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, very clearly from here, Mr. Nahar.
Okay. So I'd like to vision about Borobudur Temple compound. So in UNESCO World Heritage List, our temple name was Borobudur Temple compound because we are consist of 3 temples: Borobudur temples, Mendut temples, and Pawan temple. And from this picture, we can have an idea how the location of Borobudur actually, the position is in the middle of a mountains. So at the east side, there's a Merapi and Merbabu mountain, and Merapi mountain is the most active volcano, maybe the most active one in the world, maybe, or in Indonesia. So this is also a challenge for us to preserve the Borobudur Temple. And the other direction, there are also some several temples, and also the hill at the south side of the temple. So this from the top of the temple, we can see the surrounding of Borobudur Temple is a beautiful view, a beautiful landscape surrounding the temple. This is the idea of the location of Borobudur Temple, and there's another spot. This is Yogyakarta city, and in this location also many temples. One of them is Pramaran Temple. So Borobudur Temple is a Buddhist temple, while Pramaran Temple is Hindu temple. So those 2 big temple built at the more or less the same period, 8th and 9th century. And the size of Borobudur, 121.121 meters squares, with the 25.4 meters. This is the size of Borobudur Temple, so you can imagine how big the temple is. The Borobudur Temple consists of many panels on the wall. In total, we have 1,460 story panels, and there's also a decorative panel without story, about 1,212. And the temple itself was built in around 8th, 9th century, and then it was abandoned in 11th century, maybe in 1080 something, and then rediscovered by Raffles in 1814. And this is the hypothesis of the stages of the Borobudur construction. So first at the beginning, again, this is the central idea of the place for worship for Java people is as the pyramid, step pyramid. Okay, the green one. This is the sorry, I have a problem with my laptop. So wait a minute. Sorry. Okay, so this one, the green one, this is the situation of our ancestor worship. So because Borobudur was combining with the combination between the original central idea of ancestor worship with the Buddhism. If we remember what Mr. Abi present about the Gunung Padang, the Gunung Padang site, Gunung Padang side was the step pyramid as well. So this is the same idea, the step pyramid. And then our ancestor combined this idea of step pyramid with the stupa in the Buddhism. At the beginning, our ancestor built a very big stupa on the top of the temple, but then they realized that this will be a problem for the structural stability. So that's why they modify the shape of the stupa, become 73 stupa, one big stupa with 72 smaller stupa. This is the modification to decrease the weight of the building. And finally, we have uh, the construction like today in this 5 states. And then this is the brief story of the restoration. It was restored in 1907 until 1911, led by Theodor van Erp. This is during the colonization period. What van Erp did is was to clean all the soil and then try to reconstruct the stone block by block. And this is the result of the construction by Van Erp, 1911. And then we have another problem, and we continue to do the second restoration. This is a big restoration during independence era, 73 until 83. And this restoration also supported by UNESCO. Uh, So this is the idea of the second restoration. As we can see from this picture, actually Borobudur Temple is not all stone structure. There's also a soil beneath the temple. So we have the original hill structure here. We have the original hill soil in here, and then this is the additional soil. This is a man-made soil, and the gray here, this is the stone. So from this image, we can imagine how if the rainwater always it always come on the surface, so then the water has become a problem from the in terms of structural stability. This is the activity during the restoration. We move the stone block by block, make a number on it, and then do the conservation block by block and put back again to the original location. So this is the storage of the stone, and then this is the repairing activity, and this is the final storage before the stone put back to the original location. So all this big project was happened in 1973 until 1983, 10 years in total. And this is the situation before the second restoration. So we can imagine if the water, the rainwater, and as we know, we are in the tropical area. We have so many rain during the year because we only have two seasons in tropical area, only wet season and dry season. And during the wet season, there are so many rainwater falls at the temple. And then it's become a problem because the water will infiltrate inside the structure and bring out the soil beneath the temple. And this is the problem, the source of the problem in terms of structural stability. So from the previous picture, we can see how the wall becomes sink and sloping and so on. And this is very dangerous if we don't do the restoration. And then this is the construction after restoration. So there's a new introduce a new structure of a concrete slab. This is a concrete slab, and also introduce the water management. So how to control the water, how to pass the water through the pipes, and then there's another location to flow. So to minimize the water infiltration into the structure of the temple. So this is the main idea of the second restoration. And then in 1989, Indonesia ratified the World Heritage Convention, and then Borobudur Temple compound became a World Heritage list in 1991. And as a World Heritage Site, we are consist of 3 temples, which are Borobudur Temple here, the biggest one, and there's 2 other temples. This is Pawan Temple and Mandu Temple. So those 3 temples are in one integrity. In Vesak Day for the Buddhist people, if they want to if they do the Vesak ceremony, they will start from Mandu Temple and then do the parade, work together from Mandu Temple. They go to Pawan Temple, and finally they celebrate in front of Borobudur Temple. And as a World Heritage Site, Borobudur Temple was inscribed under 3 criteria. So in the first criteria, maybe all of you already know, this is about the masterpiece. So Borobudur Temple compound with its step and roof pyramid consists of 10 superimposing terraces crowned by a large bell-shaped dome as a harmonious marriage of stupa, temple, and mountain. This is a masterpiece of Buddhism architecture and monumental art. So this is criterion 1, more or less about the masterpiece of human creative genius. And then Borobudur Temple also has a second criteria. This is about the influence of the architecture. How Borobudur Temple exert the considerable influence to other architectural and heritage in around Indonesia and also in Southeast Asia. And next month we have also the seminar. If you are interested to attend, we will manage a seminar about the Cambodia project and the Angkor project, yeah, the Indonesian project in Angkor, I mean, the Indonesian project in Angkor. And this is also important because Angkor and Borobudur has a close relation in terms of architecture, how Borobudur has influence on the Angkor architecture. All of this will be discussed during the seminar next month. And then the last criterion is criteria number 6. This is about the idea about the arts, about the indigenous artists, how they can carve these beautiful temples, and how uh, they have an idea to combine the central idea of ancestor worship with the Buddhism. So this idea was the outstanding universal value number 6 for Borobudur Temple. And the integrity, as I said before, Borobudur Temple, Mandu Temple is a one integrity. And then for the authenticity, mostly the original material were used for the restoration, so we can identify which one is the original stone and which one is the additional stone easily. If we go to Borobudur, we can see this is original stone, and when we add additional stone, we will put a mark. So we always protect the originality of the material of the temple. And then we also protect the area because Borobudur consists of 3 area, zone 1 and zone 2 and zone 3. As Mr. Abi said before, zone 1 is the core zone is managed by Borobudur Conservation Office for the protection, for the maintenance, and so on. And zone 2, this is managed by Borobudur Park. This is the state-owned enterprise. So this is a half, we can say half private enterprise here, because the government also has also own this enterprise. This is the second zone for the tourism and other utilization. They manage this second zone. And third zone, zone 3, this is from the area of the community where the people live. This is the villages, the farm, and so on. This is managed by the Magelang Regency. So this 3 area, we always collaborate each other. And then this is just a brief preview about the conservation problem, because my main activity is a conservation. So we have a problem with stone deterioration. So we always monitor the situation of the deterioration, and we also do the routine or daily maintenance. And we also always monitor the temple and the hill stability, because after the second restoration, we install the concrete slab and so on, and we have to make sure that all system work properly. And then we have also the monitoring of the environment, geohydrology, to control the water. As I said before, that water is the main problem in the Borobudur conservation, and also the area development. This is the example of the stone deterioration problem. We have mosses, we have algae, fungi, and the salt deposit, and so on. This is, I think, this is more technical if I explain, but maybe if you want to understand more, you want to know more, maybe next we can also discuss about this conservation problem. And then this is the whole the hill and the temple stability. We have a control point, and now we do with 3D modeling and the recent technology. So maybe in the next Biochemco, I discussed with my friend in the documentation. Maybe Biochemco 21 will be the documentation system. If you are interested, so see you next year for the Biochemco 21. And then the area development, this is the national strategic area map. So to control the development of this area. So because we want Borobudur Temple, around Borobudur Temple is always a rural area, not changed to become the urban area. So there are still many farm, many paddy fields. So it's still beautiful around Borobudur. So please come to Borobudur next time. And for the conservation issues, we also have the natural disasters. I said in the beginning that Borobudur was surrounded by the mountain. This is the big volcano eruption in 2010. The volcanic ash covered the temple very, very thick. You can see from this temple how thick the volcanic ash, and this in 2010. And then also another eruption from different mountain. This is from Clut Mountain, 2014. So this is also our challenge in Borobudur Temple. So we have also the mitigation system, we have a mitigation team, we have a mitigation procedures, and we have prepared the equipment and so on. So next, if there's the other disaster, we have we will be more ready to face the disaster. And the community involvement. This is one of the example of the picture. Sorry, I do very, very fast because the time. And the other problem for Borobudur is the tourism preserve, because we have so many visitors. We have 3 million visitors in 1 year. And in the peak season, sometimes we have 40,000 visitor in a single day. This is it's very, very crowded. You can see from the picture how the visitor climb up to the temples, and this is very, very crowded. So we have a problem. We have a program how to distribute the visitors, not only go to the temple, but also go to the park, and also to the villages where people live. So the economic of the villages also increase. So this is the example how we develop the community. There are many packages now. So people could also visit Borobudur and then they ride a bicycle, go to the villages. They can also use the traditional carriage in Indonesia we call andong with a horse. And now we also have a old car like a Volkswagen car. There's also a package like that. So there are many choices for visitor, not only to visit the temple, but also visiting the surrounding area. That will also give a benefit for the people around Borobudur. And another problem in Borobudur is about the development pressure. As we know from this picture, how the communication tower, and then also the houses, the big houses, hotel, and so on. Uh, the 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 beautiful view from the top of Borobudur will be disturbed by this kind of development. And I think that's my brief presentation about Borobudur, and I hope it can also give additional information for Mr. Abi presentation, and I give back the time to Mr. Hadif. Thank you very much. Hello, Mr. Hanif. Hello, Mr. Hanif. Or maybe Mr. Abi, you can continue to another question, maybe to the next question, because I don't know where is Mr. Hanif now.
I don't think there's another question. There is a question for you, Mr. Nahar.
Hello. I'm sorry, I have to move to another phone cell because the laptop here is having a problem. So, Mas Nahar? Mas Nahar?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Do you finish your presentation?
Yes, I finished my presentation, but there's one small question that I left about the material of the temple. I just want to answer. It's an andesite stone. This
Okay.
type of volcanic stone. So, okay, thank you very much.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Nahar. That's very comprehensive explanations about Borobudur Temple. That has become the World Heritage since 1991. I hope this brings you a lot of information to the participant, especially Ms. Erin Brady, who asked the questions and asked us to explain more about the Borobudur Temple. Okay, we have another question. Should we move to another question, Mr. Naharia? We're going to go to another question. The question is from Mr. Travaladis.
Travaladis, yeah.
Yes. Could you please ask directly to Mr. Abi Kusno, Mr. Travaladis, because we have read your questions, but if it is, we welcome you if you want to ask questions directly to Mr. Abi about the heritage, wooden heritage in Indonesia, right?
Yeah, if it's possible to know, because surrounded our country, surround Indonesia, there are many wooden buildings, historical wooden buildings. So it's the same it is in Indonesia. Thank you.
It's very rare to have wooden material for cultural heritage, especially in the building form. We can I don't know, but participant from BPCB can give some information about this. But for example, like in Trawulan or in the Liangan site in Temanggung, Central Java. We found material structure that have a hole to put a column of wood, but the wooden itself we didn't find it in the site. So maybe because of the climate in Indonesia that is very wet, so the wooden material cannot survive in the open area. But we do have a boat, a ship in the Rembang, in the Central Java, in the district Rembang. It is a boat from wood that dated back to around 8th or 9th century. This is one of the oldest, one of the complete form of boat that we found in Southeast Asia, I think. And Mr. Nahar, the one who conservate this boat with I forgot the name, but the Nahar who conservate the boat. Maybe Nahar can add some information about the conservation of the boat, because this is the one of the method that we explore during that time, Pak Nahar, in conservation in conservating the boat in wooden material. Maybe Pak Nahar can add something.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Abi. So concerning the wood, the waterlogged wood from the ancient waterlogged wood from Rembang, this is a very big challenge for conservators because the condition of the wood is very deteriorated. It is very soft. The water content is more than 300% if we make a measurement of the water. So this is a big problem for us. So we developed the method how to conserve this wood, and then we decided to use the impregnation method using the polyethylene glycol chemicals. So basically, how we remove the water in the pore of the wood, and then we substitute with another chemical to support the form or the stability of the materials. This is a long process. Mr. Abi know about it, but for 4 years, 4 years, 4 years, 4 years process to put this big waterlogged wood on this in this chemical solution. And then gradually we increase the percentage of the chemical. This is a very long process. So if you have a question or you want to discuss more about this waterlogged wood conservation, maybe next time we can also discuss about this. So thank you.
Terima kasih.
Yes. Terima kasih Pak Taflaris. Thank you Mas Abi dan Mas Dahar. I think the time is now running out. It's almost 12 at noon in Indonesia time. We should end this session. But before ending the session, I would conclude that the abundance of heritage in our country is can be benefit to many aspects of our life. There's so much potential in heritage. By developing and utilizing the heritage itself, it means we also do the preservation of heritage. So heritage is not only protected, but can be developed and utilized. Thank you very much. Please give us applause. Give Mr. Abi Kusno applause to all of us too. Okay, would you like to open your video that we can make a documentation about the session? Thank you, Miss Jenny. Your clap is so much heard here. Thank you. So, organizer, would you please to document this session by 3 slides here? I think there are 3 slides here to be documented. Thank you very much. We are going to have another session at 1 o'clock. I'm sorry. Let me check the schedule first. The schedule
right,
for
one.
at 1. Thank
Yeah.
you very much, Mr. Nahar. And you would yourself would be the moderator, right?
No, Miss Jenny. Miss Jenny will be
No?
the moderator.
Oh, Miss Jenny. Okay, yeah, my friend Miss Jenny will be the moderator, and Professor Hedi will be the lecturers later on. Okay, the documentation is enough, Mr. Nahar, yeah?
Yes.
Thank you very much. If there are any mistake that I made today, the session, I do apologize, and we are going to see you again another day. Thank you very much. Good noon from Indonesia.
Terima kasih.
Terima kasih. Back to you, Mr. Nahar.
Okay, so thank you, and I think it's enough for this session. We will see you at 1 for the second session of the lecture. And I would like to remind you to open the website, because we, as I said yesterday, we add some videos for the course material. So please to watch these videos. For you who didn't see this video, you can also see the video from YouTube, because this video also uploaded in Borobudur YouTube channel. So you can also open from Borobudur Conservation Office YouTube channel. Okay, so see you at 1. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.